This is the North Africa Journal, and thank you for downloading this podcast. For more podcasts, information, and user rules, please visit north-africa.com/podcast.
With more on the situation in Tunisia, we are joined by Arezki Daoud, editor of the North African Journal. Thanks very much for joining us. It isn't yet clear that this uprising has brought a real victory and change to Tunisia. The situation is still very unstable, isn't it?
Absolutely. There are mixed emotions. There's a great deal of excitement among the population in terms of what's coming next. Certainly positive momentum. For most of the Tunisians, it's an event that's unlike anything they've seen in the past. Certainly, for many of them, it's even bigger than their nation's independence from France. And yet again, clearly there's also a lot of fear that things could be derailed by some extremist elements. As we move forward into the process, it's going to be a touch-and-go exercise. This
is being called the Jasmine Revolution, but some still fear right now it is a military takeover. And there are reports that the military controlling the streets are treating people quite brutally. Is that what you're hearing?
Well, not really. I think the military has been very poised in terms of really, keeping the streets calm. What we're hearing from from our correspondents and from the people in Tunisia, that the army has behaved quite very well. In fact, the elements that are really where there's a great deal of uncertainty are essentially the police and militias that are apparently associated with the ruling party, the RCD. But the army has so far taken a very professional stance insofar that they've decided not really to get involved at the political level. It remains to be seen what they're going to do next, again, as civil society, the opposition parties, and those who are in charge today sort of chart a way forward for Tunisia.
Well, the people rose up to oust Ben Ali because of the corruption. There was unemployment, lack of opportunity for them. How will this affect the region and other nations, do you think?
It's a little bit early to say. I think certainly what happened in Tunisia has been something that Arab streets have taken notice. Clearly there is a great deal of excitement in most, if not all, Arab capitals and Arab streets in general from the perspective of the people. I think there's also been we've seen clearly governments that have been very silent over what's happening in Tunisia, and there is a fear that that could sort of touch the hearts and the minds of the people. So short term, we really do not expect anything happening, but clearly people are paying attention in terms of what Tunisia has done and charting a way in terms of the future demands for civil liberties, freedom, and democracy.
Right. And finally, how soon will elections take place, and who might the people elect?
Well, right now there is certainly some work is being done. The negotiations are taking place to form an interim government, one that would involve a number of political parties. Within the next 2 months, we are likely to see legislative elections. And after that, I think the biggest task would be to really redesign a new constitution that would take into account the grievances of the Tunisian people. And in that sense, again, it's really going to be a phased approach, short-term interim government. Immediately after that, we're going to see a National Assembly, a new one, and then longer term, again, a vastly different Tunisia. In fact, we believe that Tunisia could be the very first truly democratic Arab country. So it's a country that's moving essentially from an extreme dictatorship to, again, potentially the very first democracy in the region.
We will leave it there. Arezki Daoud, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
This was the North Africa Journal podcast. Thank you for listening.